Tape Deck Media.
Welcome to Hosstown. I'm Taylor Ruddle.
I'm Matt Lilly. We are the Mayors of Hosstown. Let's start the show.
Hello, welcome back to Hosstown. My name is Taylor.
I'm Matt.
And we are the Mayors of Hosstown, also known as Big Plato and Big Socrates. If you're a listener of the podcast up until now, welcome back.
With some real full officers, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. Phil Hossifers, I think I wrote in the
Hossifers, yeah.
In the thing. So what are we? We're episode 4 or 5? I think we're on episode 5.
4, 5.
Leave us a comment.
I had this idea of just like to add legitimacy to the podcast. If we just start at like episode 77,
yeah,
and then it's just like, oh no, we had a previous provider, IP, it got tied up, so we had to start again from 77.
That's actually not a bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome back to episode 77, guys, of Hosstown. We'll get that in the edit. It's okay. I'll just I don't need to worry about it.
Episode 77.
Yeah, welcome, guys.
Yeah.
So we've got a list of topics for you today. Some fantastic stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about what's in the news at the moment. So the first thing I saw this morning was monkeypox, or mpox, as they are referring to it as now, is apparently looking like it could be a problem.
Yeah.
We were talking about the possibility of having to go into another lockdown. Do you think they would? Because monkeypox is like you have to touch to spread it, don't you? It's like like chicken pox or something, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't done the research on the pathology of monkeypox, but the political side of it, I think, like if we focus here on New Zealand, like because we have quite a different government than we did back then.
A new regime.
We'd have,
a Third Reich, if you will.
Because we had like one of the most liberal, like known as like one of the most liberal governments worldwide, and now we've kind of gone hard in the other direction.
Yeah.
So I think whatever we do, it'll be late. They'll try and hang on for dear life to business and everything like that, but then at some point they'll have when they do it, they'll do it, and they'll do it hard.
I wonder if it would be like what happened in America, because they never really.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those things where they told people to stay indoors, but they didn't really enforce it, did they? It was kind of like a.
Oh, it was state to state. I think.
Gotcha.
Like in Florida, they did not give a single f about it.
Nothing changed.
But yeah, and like California, I think it was. They were arresting people for surfing. So
wow.
Yeah,
okay.
It was a real duality of man.
Well, you said before that they'd be chucking people in boot camps.
Like you step your foot out, you accidentally high five your best friend and you get 25 to life in the boot camp.
So yeah, I don't know how to feel about it. I thought we were saying just before the podcast that it's a bit like how they say the first child, you usually make a lot of mistakes and you feel like you're not doing it right, and then the second child comes along and it goes a lot smoother. So if we had to do another lockdown, I suspect we'd all be kind of ready for it in a sense.
Yeah. We'll start loading up our tents and head to the Parliament lawn immediately.
Yes, exactly. We'll stage another insurgency.
That'll be my grift. I'll just, because there was a grift there to be anti-early and
How
take
do you mean
shit.
the grift?
The grift, because like I don't know if you're aware much of the political figure RFK Jr.
No, I've never heard of this.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He was one of these people that came in hard on the grift and the anti V word thing. I don't want to say it because of the algorithm.
Yeah.
Because we're still quite early. But and then he parlayed that into a presidential run where he was like the only kind of third candidate. Obviously, was never going to get close to winning. And then just this last week, kind of made headlines. That made headlines for endorsing Trump, even though he's a Kennedy, was trying to run as a Democrat initially and then went independent, and now the whole Kennedy family's pissed off at him because, the Kennedys were the Democrat stalwarts, and now he's endorsed Trump. And even this is actually for those conspiracy-minded out there, this was the stuff that tickled me.
We're leaning in. You see how
this is
he got it's
not that I'm like, again, not pro, we covered that in the last episode, but Trump said that if he wins, he's going to create a new department like that specifically designated to investigate assassinations, and he was going to put RFK Jr. ahead of it, essentially to release the rest of the JFK files and the RFK files, and then investigate the attempt on his one a month ago.
That is
So that's basically the grift I'll be going for. I'll be going anti-impox, trying to get some government departments to release the UFO files. Essentially
try to build up a little bit of heat for yourself.
Yeah. So if you see me, like, don't take it personally. I've got a plan. Like, don't, if you know me, like, don't ostracize me from society and hate me. But I've got a plan.
Leave him be. He's working on some stuff.
The man's got a grift.
He's got some irons in the fire. That's. I don't know what I'll do. My life changes very little when we're in lockdown. Like, I don't tend to go outside that much, anyways. So, if we have another one, then you're gonna see a lot more podcasts. I think we've said that before.
I'll start streaming, but I'll start trying to stream weird. Like, I'll just get into gaming as a complete noob. I'll start playing League of Legends and just dying every 5 seconds. And then, I don't know. I'm not a big gamer, so that'll be interesting.
That could be a Hosstown gaming. It could be a stream thing. Yeah. Let's go on to the second item that we have on here. It's funny how it goes straight from Mpox to Big Gary's, which was a beloved fish and chip shop that's closing after 40 years of service, I think. And neither of us were personally patrons of it, but it's always sad in Hosstown. It's like we got to have 12 days of mourning whenever a fish and chip shop goes out of business.
Yeah,
parade through the streets. 21 gun salute into the air. It's a whole. They get full honors, that kind of military service funeral. But I thought we could talk about our experiences with the bond that you develop with your local chippy and yourself. Like, have you typically been going to the same one for a long time?
Well, it kind of depends. Like, when you move, you kind of have to find a new one.
Yeah,
is the problem.
Yeah,
like there was one I used to, if you know the Christchurch geography, I used to live like Dallington kind of area, and there's one.
What is Dallington next
to?
Near
Near the Palms.
Oh yeah,
kind of between the Palms and the river.
Yeah,
kind of area. And there's one there. If you're in the area, it's called the North Avon Fish Fry, and it's like right at the top of Stanmore Road, and it was legendary. And me and the flatmates went there every week. Now recently I've kind of branched out to Heroes Burgers.
That sounds cool.
I don't know if you've been to Heroes Burgers. It's not far from where I live. It's honestly, it's on Uber Eats too. It's definitely got the best chips and the best burgers and the best meat on chips, I think, in the city. So that's kind of, if that place shut down, I would be devastated.
You'd have to take the afternoon off work. It's like a bereavement thing, like your work will give you, like, depending on. Okay, we are back. I don't know what the hell happened there. This thing decided to switch itself off. Maybe the battery ran out.
Hosstown episode 77. We're back.
I don't know how to tell what happened there.
Yeah.
I think maybe does it give a little battery indicator? Maybe it was okay. Maybe the batteries I got were not as juicy as I thought. Anyway,
well, they were Energizer, weren't they?
Yeah.
The Rabbit. That should be.
You would think so.
That's high quality. That's top of the market. Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Yeah.
Send us a big
not anymore, because if you don't, I'll give you a review. An honest one. Yeah.
Anyway, so we were talking about fish and chips. I'll just tell my quick story about the one. So I won't name it because I don't want to potentially hurt their image, because they incredible product, fantastic fish and chips. But the I don't know what you call it, the matriarch, the mama-san of the chip shop was terrifying. Like, I think she meant well, but she didn't really speak English that well at all, and just had this anger in her, like, constantly. Even on a quiet day, you'd go in and it just felt like you were bothering her. And, like, it was a real dilemma for me, because there was two that were right in the same block of shops. And if you're in Christchurch and kind of the west side, you probably already know the two I'm talking about. And, like, one of them had a less better product, but the staff were really friendly. And then the other one was, like, really good product, but the staff just really didn't seem like they wanted you like in there. So that would quite often be the trade-off. Is I many times thought, like, oh man, I'd love to go to the good ones quality, but then just thought I don't have it in me to go through that. So I don't really have a point to that.
It's kind of an interesting economic case there, because two fish and chip shops in the same block of shops.
I always wondered what their relationship was to each other.
Yeah,
like if they even acknowledged each other, or if they just kind of went about their business.
Well, it makes me it makes me think, like, because there's so many fish and chip shops, how many of them are just fronts for money laundering?
Well, that's a very common theory that these places are, like they've got something going on.
Cash business. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I suppose you could just put money in the pokies these days, but yeah, anyway, I'm not accusing anybody of any crimes. I'm just saying if you were going to money launder, a fish and chip shop's not a bad way to go.
Yeah, no, I think that would be, even if they found out you were money laundering, they'd probably just be like, you're not hurting anyone. Like, just you go on.
No, you're not hurting anybody.
Give us a red cod and a half scoop on my way out. What's your stance on people that, how like, let's say a scoop of chips is $2. What's your stance on the whole, like, give me $1 worth of chips mentality that you'd see some people? Did you ever do that yourself, or did you feel like that was flaunting the system?
I think that's flaunting the system, really.
I never did it myself.
Yeah, I do, because people just don't understand inflation. You're going to get less and less chips over time.
Yeah, exactly.
I want a standard variation of chips. It's just like a scoop is a physical measurement.
Yeah. That being said, though, it feels like there's no industry standard scoop measurement.
No,
because they're all over the show.
Well, I think the basket that they, it's just meant to be a full basket that they put in the fryer with chips.
That would make sense.
But then I think like some fish and chip shops are just like, the full basket's like where it's 3/4 full.
Yeah.
And others where it's up to the brim.
Yeah.
And it's just...
That's what I found so baffling. I've done 2 shifts as a bartender, hated it, did not enjoy it at all. But there was a whole thing we were doing with Kensington Funhouse where the management were like, maybe it'll be good for the comics to, like, they can get a bit of experience behind the bar and
get a real job.
They'll be like invested in the place, and like I think that's a great idea, but I'm not built for hospitality, and that's one thing I found baffling is like the wine glasses. When someone orders like a wine, you don't fill it to the top of the wine glass. There's like a certain amount of the wine glass that you fill.
Yeah, it's like a line, is there?
With some of them to have a line, but then the ones that didn't, I was just sort of guessing, and then you'd get people who were like, it tides out a bit. Like, what? They don't have it on the line, on the glass. What do you want from me?
Yeah.
I remember one time a comic asked me for... I think it was like what is brown liquor, like whiskey or something?
Yeah.
Again, I don't drink, so that was another reason I was kind of mad that I was trying to be a bartender. And someone asked me for like a whiskey or something, and I took out like one of the small glasses and just filled it to the brim with whiskey. And went, here you go. Only to later find out you're only supposed to put like those metal things, like those, you always see bartenders flipping them around.
Yeah.
Those, that's how much, and then the rest of it was meant to be mixer or something.
Oh,
like
did you
that.
fill up like a whiskey glass? That's
The
like,
whole thing.
that was like 5. That's like five shots worth. Jeez.
Yeah,
No, you should be a bartender, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm a bartender of the people, man. Like I give people what they want.
Yeah.
But that was from ignorance. Once someone, the comic even went, oh shit, or something when I did it. And then later on another one came out and was like, can I get a whiskey like that? I was like, no, you should have never told me that anything was amiss, because then I would have kept doing it, but they corrected me, and then I was like, well, I'm not just going to, like, it was ignorance, but I'm not going to do anything.
Sounds like you could have done with some training.
You would think so, right? I think I did get some instruction, but I think it was very much a learn on the fly kind of thing.
Yeah. The problem is a host isn't normally behind the bar, though, than the other side of the bar.
Exactly. It's not my natural habitat.
No, a host should be the guy at the end of the bar, just, like Cheers.
Yes,
just
exactly.
there all day.
Exactly like Cheers.
Yeah.
So let's get into the meat of what we're going to talk about today. As we felt like we'd call this episode Fumbles, fuck ups and failure. That's just alliterated,
or just raw mistakes. That could be
you entered the Raw competition 2024, I understand, and you didn't have a great time.
Oh, my set went well.
Yeah,
the set went well. Well, yeah, we'll start at the, we'll go to the start. So there's a competition in New Zealand and Australian comedy too, but New Zealand comedy in particular as well, called the Raw Comedy Competition. It's loosely meant to be for people like 3 years and under or something, but very loose on that.
It used to be 2, but now they've put it to 4. So.
Yeah, 4, yeah.
I don't know what's going on there. I'll be able to enter it in about 3 years' time.
Okay, yeah.
Watch out, Raw. I'm coming for you.
Exactly. But anyway, so, we had the Raw comp. There was like 11 people in it, and at the start of the night, because it's a competition, there was a random draw of everybody's number. You just pull a number out of the hat, 1 to 11. I got number 11. So
that's headline credits.
I was headline credits. No, actually, because they had last year's winner, Vic, do a set after the last person to give the judges like 10 minutes to figure out the winners. But anyway, so because of that, like for the whole first half of the show, I was out in the smokers area. I was talking to shout out Tim Kelly because he was on the door. He was looking at the door.
Big fan of Tim.
Yeah, big fan of Tim. I was chatting to him, just trying to not watch the show, get too nervous.
Ease the nerves.
Went for a walk, put my headphones in at one point. So point of that is I didn't even watch the first half of the show. So when it comes to do my set, do my thing, gave myself a 7 out of 10.
Nice.
Good host performance, I think. Some punchlines landed, some others didn't. Kind of standard as it goes.
Yeah.
And then came the time at the end of the night for the host to, in his tight leotard and terrible Mexican accent, to read out.
Let's actually clarify what you meant by that. That wasn't just a racist saying there. It was the character is El Jaguar.
Yeah, El Jaguar.
We won't dead name him, but it's a character. It's like a character stand-up thing. And
quite well known in the Christchurch comedy scene. If you've been around, you've probably seen him.
I think in New Zealand, if you've been to Auckland and stuff, El Jaguar hosts quite a bit there. But so
anyway,
I just didn't want us to get cancelled for awful Mexican accent. It was just a guy talking.
Anyway, I'm not throwing shade at anybody in particular.
A thick accent.
It's a thick accent. But anyway, so he goes through. He reads out the third place winner. And that was given to Ben Vias. Shout out Ben Vias.
Oh, big fan of Ben. He's going to be
fan of Ben.
Yeah,
big fan of Ben. And then
good lad.
Second place was read out. He went up, got his voucher, and second place was read out with Sophie Ricketts. Shout out Sophie Ricketts. Very new to comedy, but did a great job on the night. And then it came time to read out the winner. And like I said, I wasn't on any expecting to win type of thing, or I didn't even watch the first half of the show. It wasn't like a blowout performance. I wasn't expecting to win or anything. That's what I'm saying. And then, as El Jaguar read out the winner of the competition, he said the name, and he read it out as Claire Mackey. And for whatever reason, the way he said Mackey, I thought he said Matt Lilly.
Oh, you heard Lilly, yeah.
I heard Matt Lilly. And,
Mackie Lilly.
And I went from, I'm not winning this thing, I don't care, to, oh my God, I did it. And bounded up, ran past all the other comics.
Pushed Claire out of the way.
Pushed Claire out of the way. And got up to the front and stuck my hand out to shake El Jaguar's hand. And it took him 3 times of saying, Claire Mackey. Clear Mackey. For me, I literally was like, I shook his hand and he wouldn't stick it out, and I was like, oh, do I grab the trophy first or no? And he
do I claim my check now, or do I just do I email you later?
So do you reimburse me for the flights to Auckland, or
I'll invoice you.
I'll invoice you. But and then the moment hit me, and I was like, oh my God, I am an absolute fool. And then turned around as Claire was right behind me as she was finally walking up there. Ran back and just collapsed into the arms of one Harry Smith. Good lad. I don't know if you met Harry.
Harry Laxton Smith?
Harry Laxton Smith. Yeah, Harry Laxton Smith.
Look, as a pair of arms to collapse into go, we could do no better than Harry Smith.
Yeah, so, and I just completely kept going, I'm an effing idiot. Man. And then... But shout out to Claire though. Claire, she's very new in the comedy scene. She did a great job. She went up, her set was right before mine, so I can't say I was fully paying attention. But the crowd obviously were loving it, and the judges did too. So best of luck to genuine deserving winner. This is not what the point of this is, but so best of luck to Claire up in Auckland at the national final. But
go hard, Claire.
There was only one comic people were talking about at the end of the night, and
you're like when when Taylor Swift won the award, and Kanye went up.
Kanye had my Kanye moment. I got up there, did my Ray Gun breakdancing.
Yes, well that's the thing. That's why I'm glad you wanted to talk about it, because I would say this is going to be right now. I'm sure it fucking hurts to think about this, but didn't the message when you sent that to me, my response to that was like, oh man, that sucks, but also invoice me $70, King, because I was paying you for some gigs that you ran while Henry was sick or something. And then I think I said something like, you probably still made more money than most of the comics in that competition. Wait, how much were the flights?
I don't know.
Flights to Auckland.
Okay,
no, don't worry about that.
Yeah.
You made some money from comedy.
I've made some. Yeah, I'm in the black. I think for the year.
You're in the black.
That's $50 positive for the last 3 months.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I imagine when we're up to episode 130 episodes, when we get to episode 100 of Hosstown.
Yeah.
I imagine you'll probably look back on it and laugh.
I already am.
And I think it'll be a fun little footnote in your, when someone's editing your Wikipedia page in 10 years or something.
Yeah, well, I'm still expecting a comedian to introduce me as your Canterbury Raw went. Oh, no, he wasn't actually.
Man.
Yeah,
well, here's the thing, man.
Yeah,
I feel like you should have won, and I'm starting a hashtag, not my Raw winner. I'm going to be going to the Capitol and staging an insurrection. What's the correct word? There?
October 6th. We're gonna
head up there.
Insurrection of the classic.
I'm not leaving until my demands are met. I don't know what my demands are yet, but think about all the storyline. This is from a professional wrestling standpoint here. Think of all the storylines we can do now, because the classic storyline is like wrestler has the championship, they get injured, they go off TV for a little bit, they crown a vacant, the title's vacated, they crown a new champion, and then the champion comes back and says, I never lost my damn title, so then they face each other. So, you and Claire Mackey might have one of those comedic rivalries that's, we could be looking at the next John Jones and Daniel Cormier here.
It's
you got to have the rubber match. Can you enter Raw next year?
Maybe, I don't know.
They keep extending it. So fuck it. I'm going to enter Raw next year.
Yeah,
I'm coming for you, Raw.
Yeah.
To be honest, though, if you think about it in terms of like notoriety, I'm absolutely unknown enough where I could enter Raw. Like, do you know what I mean?
Well, just change your name and get a haircut and show up, and it'll be no one's gonna know. I could literally like I'm still waiting for the day that Matt Lilly disappears from the Christchurch comedy scene and I come back as somebody who,
Lat Millie.
Lat Millie turns up, clean cut, shaven.
What do you think I'm growing my hair out? I'll look different in a year or so.
Yeah, but the thing is, because you're growing it out, it's going to be gradual. Like, you're going to have to take like 6 months off.
That's true, yeah.
I
have to fake my death for a little bit or something.
Yeah, I could show up tomorrow and you might not even recognise me.
You could just buzz it all and you'd be sorted.
Yeah.
So that was the first. So as to not like have it as just you telling your painful story on the podcast, I felt like we could just talk about failures in general. Like my just back from Twizel. What is it? Last weekend, as of the time of this recording. I should also say another failure. We've missed the upload for Hosstown. It was meant to go up a couple of weeks ago, so I apologise to the 3 subscribers, 2 of which I think are us. Apologies for missing that, but I was very busy and very tired when I got back from Auckland after getting stuck at the airport for like 14 hours. So here we are. That's another failure to add to the list. Twizel, just got back. First gig was bloody brilliant, and that was the one that was not organised by me. That was a Beats by Bingo event, full house, 70 or 80 people. Great night, great little night. I think we're going to try and run a stand-up night in that venue. Very cool. It's got like an actual stage, which is cool. I believe they use that area for like a kids' play area during the day, because there's like little tricycles and those like, I don't know what it is, it's like floor mats that are like rubber and you can put them together like a jigsaw.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I tripped over many times on the stuff on the back of there, trying to set the projector up.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to do something there. And then the second night, however, and you can add this to the long list of gigs that I've really failed to sell any tickets to, but I rented out the Twizel Theatre, seats about it was either like it's like somewhere around 200 people, I think, it seats. I can't remember the exact number. Surprisingly reasonable to rent, not too expensive. And a surprising amount of trust is put in you when you hire it, because they basically just give you a key and they're like, all right, here are the light switches. Here's the heating button. Put the key through the mail slot when you leave, and good luck with the gig.
Yeah. So
I was sort of left to my own devices in this massive theatre, and I was doing a ghost story show, which I think if you've been listening to the podcast, you would have heard me plugging it. And I sold 11 tickets out of 200 that night, which was brutal.
Yeah.
The 11 people that did come out were like great, and they all said they enjoyed it. So I'm taking that. I'm hitting 100% there. It's just my sample size is not massive.
Yeah.
One of the guys suggested that I could do it by candlelight next time, which I think is a great idea. I'm going to get some. I think there's a thing with like fire hazards, so I don't think I'll be able to use real candles, but I'm going to go on like Temu or whatever and find some atmospheric candles. But that is kind of brutal when you're looking up at like all these seats, and then the front 2 rows are full. not an amazing feeling as a performer, but at the same time, I also did learn that promoting in a small town is a different animal. Like, you kind of need boots on the ground in the town. So like next time I go there, I think I've got a strategy to promote it. But yeah, so we both had a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Twizel
was an interesting. It's a real.
You spent a lot of time there. You said,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I used to, because it's a big rowing town. It's like the rowing mecca of the South Island. Lake Ruatanapa is they host the Nationals and Mardi Cup every second year, which is the two big rowing regattas. So I spent a lot of time down there, and it's an interesting place outside of that, because like it's very like it's the kind of town that you probably drove through and thought, damn, this place is bigger than I thought it was. Like, there's quite a few houses here.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, but 80% of those are empty year round. Like, they're all, most of them are holiday homes. Like,
Yeah,
so that's part of the problem. You probably went there in August because it's not like there's not many ski fields or anything around there either. So it's not a big like ski resort town. It's very much summer is when it's bussing. So like, I think that would be part of it, because it's a big holiday. Like, if you went there like December, January, and try to get that theatre, like they'll probably book it out. A lot of other events, but summer would be the place to go there. Because also, if you could do something like, they got one big event, the Twizel Salmon and Wine Festival. It's usually end of January, early February every year. Absolutely goes off, because they're big on their salmon down there. They got a lot of salmon farms.
I did notice that there's a couple of salmon farms there. Yeah.
So. Yeah, that's the thing about Twizel. It's a weird town. And with small towns, that's the thing. You kind of, it's got to be a seasonal thing too, I imagine, because like certain places just, like if there's one place to go to and try and put events on in the winter, it would be somewhere like Queenstown, Wanaka, those kind of areas, because they're bustling.
I've heard Methven like triples during the winter or something.
But yeah, Twizel's more of a summer destination.
Yeah,
so.
Well, put it this way, it wasn't exactly my choice to do it in winter. It was just like, I thought, let's make hay while the sun shines, like while I'm in town for the other gig.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, probably not the smartest decision on my part. But I mean, a couple of people asked me about the podcast afterwards. So if you're listening, hello, welcome. Nice to see you again.
How you doing?
But yeah, no, I think we'll be back. I've been attempting to put on a gig in Hamner Springs for the last, I don't know, I've had a couple of venues that seemed sort of keen, but then it ghosted me in the end. So again, I need to figure out how to get one of them going. I think the move we're going to do is just going to hire the Memorial Hall. The good thing about council venues is they can say no, but they don't tend to say no.
Yeah.
Whereas like bars and stuff, you kind of need to like get them to buy into it. So, but yeah, keep your eyes peeled on the Can Do Comedy page, I guess. You actually started one recently. MLM marketing.
Yeah, MLM comedy. We're taking comedy to the top, one multi-level marketing scheme at a time. Because as we talked about in the other programs, last show, I started running a couple of gigs, one at Galaxy Bar, and just trying to formalize it for the tax man, really.
Yeah.
That's essentially what we're doing.
Are you in what do they call it, an LCL or whatever now? Have you registered that?
I haven't got that far yet. No, I've got business cards made. Actually, I got to go pick those up.
That's really the official.
Well, here's the thing, because on the
you've got the Facebook page, you've got business cards. That's all you need to look. You're basically a business.
It's a business. It's literally the two things I've done.
That's all you need to do, man.
And I've got the first event up and running. Fun Day Laughs at Galaxy Bar Monday the 2nd of September. Matt Threadable is hosting, so get down to that. But here's the thing with the business card. So like I put name, I put Matt Lilly, who is director, founder / comedian of MLM Comedy, and then I put the email address as matt@mlmcomedy.com.
Did you get the URL?
Well, here's the thing. I looked at it before. I put that on the card before I'd actually bought it, and I was like, shit, it's only going to be $20 for the year. I'm jumping on that. And then I put the email down thinking, oh yeah, they say they can, give me an Outlook email with it for a little bit extra. And then the little bit extra was actually like $70 a year.
Yeah, it's not
just
cheap,
an email. And I was like, is that really worth it? But then I already sent through the order for the business card, so I think I have to do it now.
Oh man, you shanghaied yourself into that, didn't you?
I've got the mlmcomedy.com, but I'm trying to figure out a cheap way if I go through like some budget as dodgy email server to just make it mad and MLM Comedy. I'm sure there's a way.
Yeah, there'll be a way.
Or I could just make a Proton mail. I don't know.
Hotmail.
Yeah, Hotmail. I'm running Hotmail still for some of my stuff.
But I love when you see a tradesman's like it's like letter painting and decorating or whatever.
Yeah.
And on their sign writing for their car, it has like, bigjimbo1974 @ hotmail.com as the official work email, and then just the guy's personal cell phone number on the side of it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So, well, because I'm going up to Auckland in a week or two, I'm going to take the business cards up there and just pepper them around the city.
Good.
I ordered 250, so I want to get rid of at least 200 of them in the next 2 weeks.
I'm
going to go to like open mics and just be like, here's my card.
Nice. Yeah. That's a step up.
Yeah.
I've often toyed with the idea of stickers, getting stickers, because like I don't know exactly the legality of putting stickers on public things, but you tend to see certain, like there's a rain pipe thing in town that's covered in them, and I think after a certain point, it's just like, well, that's the designated put your stickers here thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, is it illegal to put stickers on public stuff?
I think it is. I remember looking this up like a few months ago when I was first trying to run a gig. Just like, what's the legality? It's called bill sticking.
Yeah.
And it's, I think you can get like a $500 fine, essentially, if you do it. But I don't think it's very, because people just don't, who's looking at a poster these days on,
Yeah, that's true.
It's...
We did recently get the URL for roddlemethus.com, so I've got an actual website now, which is tight.
Yeah.
Are you going to make a website for MLM?
Yes, I'll get MLM comedy going. Well, I kind of had a broader idea because it's MLM for Matt Lily Media. I kind of was like, let's, obviously we run comedy events, but kind of just branch out a little bit. I kind of want to get a sketch thing going. I've got a few sketch ideas.
Nice.
And the main idea I had, I'll put this out there for the whole world to see, but to have like an MLM comedy boardroom and just have like a running cast of characters and because you've been to my house, I got the big CEO desk there.
Yeah, you do.
Just I could just fashion the whole lounge just to be like a big boardroom, and I had an idea of, say the first skit I had is say Matt Threadwell's there with his shitty blazer on with the big placard and he's pitching an idea to the board.
Yeah.
And then because I've already employed Georgia West Cahill as the creative director for MLM Comedy.
Nice.
I'm the director /founder /comedian. And then I've just got roaming characters that are just other local comics that are, and just, I'm rotating them in and out, and then it's just, but then at the end of it, the idea of the sketch is to promote a gig. Mm-hmm. So, and then...
That's cool.
I don't know. That's kind of the first idea. I might never do it, but, I've put it out there so
you've
someone
put it out
can
into the
steal
universe
it.
now, so you kind of have to.
Yeah,
That's
I
how
do.
these things work. You talk about something, and then now you've got to go and actually make it happen.
Yes.
That's cool, man. I like that. I like it that it has a kind of... like a theme, you're running it like an actual corporation, which is very fun. So.
Well, I want to do multi, but buy 3 tickets, get 5 kind of thing. Refer a friend, get a free ticket. Just scam it up.
Really pyramid scheme it up.
Really pyramid scheme it up. Just pyramid scheme to the top, and then because and then when I get prosecuted for shady business practices, no one will be surprised.
No,
so
it was in plain as day.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go through another couple of things on the list here. So. Do you remember... You do remember the first time you bombed?
Sadly. Yes, I do remember the first time I bombed. Do you want me to tell the story?
Well, just, talk about how early in it happened and what was going through your head when it happened.
It was the second time I ever got on stage, second open mic I ever did. And the problem was the first one went too well. The first one went really well. I could see all my dreams within grasp. I made people laugh for the first time getting on stage. I was like, God damn, this comedy shit's easy. And then I thought I could just go on there and just wax poetic about my sick granddad and just how he is very creepy around my sister and thinking that would be funny, but it just made everybody uncomfortable and it didn't even really have a punchline.
I can imagine it would.
And it was also just because there was two sides of it. It was ooh, we don't want to hear about that, and your poor granddad, fuck's sake, he's nearly 80.
He's been creepy.
Yeah, but he's trying to kiss my sister on the mouth. So.
Oh, no.
But, and then, I bombed, didn't get a single laugh in the 5 minutes I was up there, got off stage, just completely wrecked. And then, shout out Big Jimmy Smalls, he was there. He was there.
Jimmy.
First time meeting him that night. And he did his best to console me, but kind of just, the one thing I remember him saying is just you need punchlines. You need some more punchlines. And I was just he had a good stage presence, is what I was told, even though I could feel my leg uncontrollably shaking the whole time I was on stage. But I got told I had a good stage presence. So
nice.
That was one of those moments where I was like, oh, okay. I felt incredibly nervous, but they couldn't really tell. So,
yeah, that's right. I always forget, because it's been so long since I've felt that dread and nerves. I still remember in the early days the dread before going up and thinking like, why am I doing this to myself? Like the roller coaster that you feel of like the dread leading up to it, followed by like the elation of like, oh man, it all worked. That's how dead I am inside. I haven't felt that in years, but I've actually kind of got a little shock because I go straight to the joy now. Like I don't feel, the only dread I get is like right when the MC is like, okay, the next act up is whatever. I feel a little bit of that sort of like, oh, here we go. But then, God, I hate it when the MC goes, all right, so we're going to get your next comic up. And then they just keep going and keep talking. And I'm just like, get on with it. It's like, so your first one went quite well. Second one, not so great.
Yeah.
Did you get on stage straight away after that again, or did you give yourself a little bit of...
Maybe like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to get the taste out of the taste out of my mouth. I started writing after that point. That was when I realized, I've actually got to plan stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It is really common, I've heard, is like people's first time goes really well, and then their second time is like really quickly like a reality check. Or like me, I think my first 6 months to a year went like okay. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like I didn't crush on my first time, and then I didn't really crush until like probably 3 years in or something. But like I had pretty steady, like it was all right.
Yeah.
But then I remember my first bomb was we'd just done this sort of comedy course with a guy called Jamie from Hong Kong Comedy Club. What are they called? Takeout Comedy in Hong Kong. He flew over to Japan and did like a workshop with us, and he opened up by kind of being like. He said, like, talk about stuff that only you can talk about, because especially in a place like Japan where everybody's from different parts of the world, you know, we had like a South American guy, we had a California Latina girl, we had a couple of Brits, we had an Icelandic guy, we had me, so like we all had different stuff to talk about. And so first 3 or 4 jokes of mine were like just hacky New Zealand, like, oh shit, you know, sheep fucker, you know, that kind of thing. Something about, I don't know. It was all hack shit. I don't want to remember, but like it did all right to people that like weren't from New Zealand. And then the first time I bombed was when a bunch of Australians were in the crowd. So to them, all that stuff was real hack. Yeah. And so they were just like, like the first couple didn't work. I remember being like, oh, I'm actually bombing, and I was like, wow, this doesn't feel nice at all. Like I remember just being like, oh. I don't like how this feels. Yeah. And then I've got a video of it. I still haven't, in probably like 8-9 years, I have not been able to watch it back again. Yeah. And maybe I will someday. Maybe we can watch it on the show. If I think I still have it. I have my second ever time on stage, recorded, and yeah, that first bomb was rough. And I remember like because I'm better at dealing with it when it like doesn't go well now, but like when you've had a rough one, do you tend to just want to be like alone, or how do you respond to a show not going well?
Yeah, I want to be alone. I want to get out of there as quickly as possible. I want to get home and get to my cave. I'll tell you another story, because this is probably the most recent like bad bombing I've had, and I remember it. It was when Tom Lucas, shout out Tom Lucas, was down here. Yeah, Last Laugh Comedy Club in Hamilton. Go check it out. Tom Lucas, good lad, was down here was here for a few months. He was running his hour at Good Times, and he got me to open for him. Yeah, and you know, Tom Lucas is always the hustler, big hustler. He like, you know, probably initially didn't sell great with tickets, but he was out all afternoon, like, bloody just giving out flyers, getting people. I've heard
he does it even with his club now. He'll be on the street barking.
Yeah. So a lot of people there, like, not necessarily comedy fans though. So I got up, did my 10 minutes, just bombed completely for 10 minutes. Just, you know, a lot of very young female crowd too. So it was just like a lot of insecure, you know, and it's a different thing when you're aware you're bombing, like after you've got a bit of experience. Because like you start feeling like it's a physical thing. Yeah. I started noticing physical changes to my body. Yeah.
Like you like you could feel the sweat coming on. I could feel the
sweat. I was getting like just cold sweat, just like shivering and sweat. It was not...
Just a quick interjection there. Did you watch Joe Rogan's live one that he did?
I got about 20 minutes
for the viewers out there, I'm probably not going to watch it, but the reason I bring it up is because like he's basically bombing for some of it, and some of the things that he does, like he does a joke and then he kind of does this kind of like this sort of like a little bit of a chuckle to himself, and I was like, man.
And then he started later on. He started getting like the sweat.
There's
under
the sweat,
his
the
man.
sweats. Yeah, that's what reminded me of it was he gets like they're calling it titty sweat. It's like under his kind of whatever. But like just he did this little laugh, and I was like, every stand-up comedian has done that laugh when you went. It was kind of like a, oh shit, like what? What do you mean that didn't work? Like what? And then apparently he also brings out old material like from previous specials, which is like obviously he has like a club set that's like his good stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And man, I've done that so many times. Is when you realize you're eating it, and then you're like, all right, time to bring out the good stuff, and then
God, that would have been horrible because then he would have been like, wait, this is a Netflix special.
It's live
this
on
is
Netflix,
live.
yeah, exactly.
And you know, there's no getting out of it. Like
Exactly.
this is there forever. And I felt, not to like, you know, I'm not. I was a Joe. I was a Joe Rogan fan way back in the day,
Right.
way back before, and
pre ivermectin.
Pre ivermectin, yes, and. Like he was actually all right comedic wise back in the day.
I think his first hour was genuinely really funny.
Yeah, because he had a lane like he was the weed comedian.
Yeah,
like before when that was still illegal, he was the weed comedian, the weed and MMA comedian, which like I can relate to. I like fighting and I like weed, but this last one, like he literally, I turned it off 20 minutes in.
Yeah,
he got to that his bit about men having babies, and I was like, God, this is so hacky. Just like the epitome of like, you know, straight white man trans joke, and it was like the worst one I've ever heard.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
that was why I switched off. Apparently Nick Mullins' Year of the Dragon is really, really... I actually have watched the whole thing now, but he opened with trans material, and I just kind of like, can we have one that doesn't start with this? Yeah. So I switched it off, but then people were like, no, watch it. It is really good. So I kind of skipped through all that, and then the rest of it I think was really funny.
Yeah, it was a real special of two halves, that one. The second half was pretty strong, because again, I was really excited for that one too, because I was like, you know, Nick Mullins, like he's a solid, like pretty unique character. And he's got some jokes that are just... Yeah.
Well, he wasn't being hateful or anything like that. I just have such fatigue of like hearing jokes about it, and I'm kind of like, can we talk about some other stuff? There's like so much other stuff in life that you could do jokes about.
Well, because he went from that to like, you know, borderline hacky material, just on hacky bloody topic anyway, and then he started telling a bit which I thought was really interesting. It was basically telling the story of when his girlfriend got an abortion. Mm-hmm. And it was like, basically the story of that.
Your eyes went really wide when you said that. You just felt the YouTube money slipping away.
Exactly. But like, it was a comedy, but from the male's perspective of that. Mm-hmm. Which I mean, you've heard like female comedians tell this story. About
right.
But yeah, you never hear it was kind of like, that's a perspective I've never heard before.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, one of those bits. I was like, that was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I think I heard some cool stuff. He had some cool things about the Ninja Turtles in there, which were fun.
Yeah.
Like that was a good bit. I completely derailed what you were talking about. So you could feel the changes in your body.
Yes. Yes, and then I'll tell you, this was funny because then I was sitting backstage and Tom Lucas goes out and does his hour, and you may have recounted the night differently, but from my perspective, he was struggling a bit too for his first 10 to 15 minutes, and then he has a joke. It's kind of a crowd work joke where he just like talks about the funny sounding farts. And he literally starts making fart noises
into the mic.
Not to butcher you, but then like that started killing. That was the first thing all night that started killing. I think it really turned the crowd around. But once that started happening, I had a moment of just like, God, I fucking hate this crowd.
Oh man,
I'm I got on my comedy high horse and got the fuck out of here. Basically,
that's the thing about not to get two white guys talking about how only we understand comedy and no one else does. But like, that's one thing that like. I have to often remind myself is that like the average person is not, you know, if you hear like a premise or something and you're just like, oh, it's been done to death. It's so hack. It's whatever.
Yeah. But
like to the average person, like who isn't watching comedy like most days of their life, it's like fresh and hilarious or whatever. So, and even this Twizel trip, I had to. This is to be honest for all comedians and people who want to be entertainers and stuff. Keep this in mind. You're pretty much still going to be at the mercy of people's lives having to go on regardless of your event. Because like one of the things that people Twizel told me about the thing was that there was a school disco on the same night as my show, and I sort of started thinking to myself like, it would be great to be like famous or at least well known enough that like people will go out of their way to come and see you. Do you know what I mean? Like
you're the reason you fuck up the school disco.
Big League, the school disco.
Sorry,
guys.
kids. The school disco's cut because we can't get parental help because they're all at Taylor Runnels.
All the dads are coming to watch me tell one-liners.
Yeah. That's the dream. I want to fuck up a school disco.
I want to ruin those kids' childhoods.
I want to stop them from awkwardly grinding on each other.
Yeah, the chicken dance,
exactly.
all that stuff. But that's what I mean is like is with you know, to those people in that crowd who maybe weren't in the mood for like proper intellectual kind of jokes, them just being like, oh, this guy making fart sounds into a microphone, like that's just what I needed to like cheer. And so the one thing for a creative to remember is that like everyone in the crowd, like they have had a whole day before they come out and see you. Do you know what I mean? Like they have probably not enjoyed it for the most part at work.
Yeah.
And yeah, just I don't know, just keep that in. It's like when I get shitty when I'm trying to do my jokes, my little wordplay jokes, and you know, you'll see like a couple sort of like whispering to each other and getting kind of frisky, and I want to be like, guys, you're not listening. But it's like to them, I'm really just there. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like the thing they came out to see. They just wanted like a night out. And so.
Sound like they should get a room, to be honest. But yeah.
Wow. You know, I would, you know.
We had that at the
Austin. Generally, that would be a lot.
We had that at the Austin Club like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't know if you were on the lineup, but yeah, there was, because I was hosting and there was a couple in the back corner that were just full on making out.
Yeah. So that's. Something about the Austin Club, man. It makes people.
Yeah.
It's a natural aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
But because it's underground, you know what I mean? It feels secret and it feels like you're, you know, like in a clubhouse or something.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that's why people get a little cozy with each other, let's just say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what are we up to now?
Yeah.
So 40 minutes now. Do you want to talk about Fringe? That could be another failure that we could talk about.
Well, yeah, because
maybe close on Fringe.
On Fringe. Well, I just brought up the idea of, you know, floating some Fringe show ideas to you about potentially doing them next year, because what we've got in the South Island, there's Nelson Fringe and Dunedin Fringe, the two big ones. But I mean, you did both of those last year.
Yeah.
So earlier this year.
And I would say we could probably count those as not a failure as such. I'd say I definitely fumbled the Dunedin Fringe and didn't do as well as I wanted to for the Nelson Fringe. I did okay in the end. Like, Nelson Fringe is an interesting one because you can check your ticket sales in advance. And for the last 2 years that I've done it, I've had like, I don't know, 5 pre-sales or something across 2 nights.
Yeah.
Literally the morning that I have to, like, I'm checking my phone, getting ready for the 5-hour drive up to Nelson, and like I've got, you know, 6 pre-sales, and I'm just like, oh man, I hope this picks up. And you know, it normally does, and you normally end up there with a good kind of crowd size in the end. But I have yet to have one of those ones where like the place has been properly full. So maybe next year.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. And then Dunedin. I'll tell any comics out there that are thinking about doing Dunedin Fringe, don't do what I did and don't try to go for 4 nights straight away. Go for 2 at most. And a little tip that I learnt from Gerard Doherty, good lad. Posters are the big way to get the word out over there. I tried like Facebook advertising and a bit of just online stuff, but that didn't help that much. Either that or my show wasn't that appealing, but posters is the big one there. So hang up as many as you can. There are a few kind of services around, people that do it. You can ask them to paste, as they call it in the industry.
Yeah.
And 2 nights, posters. I can't really think of what else I fumbled. I think I messed up a little bit in that the place I was doing my show in Inch Bar is also like a really popular bar. So on Friday, which was my biggest crowd, it was also when the bar was really busy, so it was really fucking loud, and you almost couldn't hear me over the sound of the bar noise. So I don't know. I love Inch Bar, but maybe don't do Inch Bar. If you're going to do Inch Bar, which I recommend because it's an incredible little thing.
Well, that's where they do most of their comedy shows down there.
Yeah, they do.
Bar,
but the Fringe ones are kind of like, you'll do, I think, Moons is a good venue. That was what Gerard used.
Yeah.
Shout out to Moons. I honestly don't know. There is some Te Whare o Rukia, I think was one of them, which was like a little public black box theatre, I think. That seemed like it went pretty hard. Dish, I think, goes pretty well too.
Yeah, well, there's another theatre. It starts with A. I think
Little New Anethium Theatre.
Yeah, because I think that's where Tama did his.
Yeah.
Because he obviously.
Oh, was that the Anethium?
I think I don't know. It was one of the theatres there because he obviously killed it.
Yeah,
Being
no,
the
Tama.
local lad. But yeah,
Good lad, Tama.
Yeah, great lad, Tama.
Not a hoss, but you know.
No, quite the antithesis of a hoss, but
Yeah.
very funny regardless. Yeah,
I don't think he's watching, but if he is, shout out to Tama.
yeah, he better be. No.
But yeah, those would be my. Don't repeat those mistakes.
Yeah.
I did have actually podcast listeners that came out to the shows, which is cool. So I assume they're still listening. Hello, folks. I'm looking forward to seeing you again next year. 2025. Do you know what have you got any ideas for you're going to do a split bill show? Have you got
Yeah,
any-
I mean Georgia West Cahill, we were talking about doing a split bill, and I know trying to tie it in. I had an idea of maybe just making it like family centered, but just like our family's us and the cats.
That's cool. I like that.
You
Yeah,
know, it's like a millennial family. You know,
Yeah.
you know, to you know, a couple of cats in there, but maybe bring them down for the trip. They'll hate it, but
well, that was a joke I tried to get working ages ago. Is it's like you can tell the demographic of a event by what they try to sell you as a family pass is. So the joke was, you know, movies is pretty typical. 2 parents, 2 kids. Something about going to the opera up in Ponsonby in Auckland. A family pass was 2 adults and an emotional support chihuahua. And then I went to the wrestling, and the family pass was like 1 child and 4 children or something, I think was the gag, which is a real thing I saw.
yeah.
I'm not making that up. Like, that was a real thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could do your family pass to. It'd be like, you know, the millennial family pass to see the new Harry Potter play would be two adults and 2 cats.
That's good because we've both kind of got Harry Potter material running to it at the moment, so that could work in. That can work in well.
Are you both in the same house?
What? No, I don't know what house Georgia is in, but I was a Hufflepuff.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a real Hufflepuff. No, I was a Ravenclaw. I was one of those two. The two you don't want. Yeah. So,
I love how those houses in that are like blatantly the good guys,
yeah.
blatantly the bad guys.
I think I would have been Ravenclaw because Ravenclaw is like the Sigma house. Just the grind, keep to yourself, but grind in the background. Like, you know, the Hufflepuff's like the creative, like, you know, sort of, and then Slytherin's like the dark ones, and then Gryffindor's like the brave heroes.
Yeah.
So.
I've heard that. It's so fascinating the way that our generation is like added stuff to that wasn't, you know what I mean? Like they've really fleshed out those houses and what the personality traits are, but like,
well, because no one's going to ask the author for
no, I don't think we want to know what she thinks.
Everybody's sick of her opinions.
Yeah, that's right. Joe will take it from here. Thanks. Just don't worry. You go to your rally.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I don't know if I had a house. Hagrid wasn't really in a house. So
Was he not?
no, he was. Well, I don't know. They never talked about the house he was in. Was he even a student there at one point? He might have been.
I think he got expelled.
Did he?
I wonder. So
Oh, he should have been fired for the way he was hanging around those kids.
in today's age, that wouldn't be tolerated.
No.
So yeah, you're Ravenclaw Sigma, bro. What about Georgia? I feel like she'd be Hufflepuff.
She'd probably be Hufflepuff.
feels like a sort of friend to nature.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know anything else about Hufflepuff. They like food. Is it a thing?
I don't know. I never read the books. I watched the movies. Like, this is about as long as I want to talk about Harry Potter, to be honest. I almost want to go anti-Harry Potter in the marketing, because that's kind of what because we both have Harry Potter jokes and they're quite anti the Harry Potter thing. You know, because it's like, there is a culture to that where it's like, okay, we get it. You're magical. You lived under your stairs. and your parents didn't understand you. We get it. Yeah.
I saw a thing that was like Harry Potter's basically the trust fund kid. Like his parents left him a ton of money. He just wants to become like the equivalent of a cop in the thing. So he's just this is like a frat boy who goes on to become a cop. What was I going to say next? It's almost kind of the thing that Zoomers roast the millennial generation about. It's like everything's Harry Potter. That seems to be their main. Apparently socks as well. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, like the colourful socks, the quirky socks.
What is like ankle socks or like high socks? I think apparently if you wear ankle socks, that's like a millennial giveaway. But like right now, I'm wearing tall socks, so that falls apart pretty quick.
Yeah, so am I. Yeah.
What are you going to do now, Zoomers?
Couple millennials over here. Well, actually, I'm on the cusp. I'm a cusp.
Are you really?
I'm a millennial. It's like, I think 97. If you're born after 97, you're a Zoomer, and I was born in 96.
So to be honest, I'm pretty close to that, and I was 92, so 5 years. Yeah, so maybe that's it then. I don't know. But whenever something like that comes up, I'm like I didn't care about being cool when I was your age. Like, you can't hurt me. It's like Bane, you know what I mean? Like, what does he say? You think the darkness is your ally? Like, I didn't see the light till I was already a man. Like, that's me. I've never known what it's like to feel cool. So take your shots, fellas. You can't hurt me. Yeah,
you can't hurt the horse. Can't hurt the horse.
Should we end it there?
Yeah, we should.
Let's get the plugs in. So, social media, where can they find you?
Yeah, Matt Lilly 9, Matt Lilly Comedian on Facebook. Matt Lilly 9 on Instagram. I just said Matt Lilly 9. Matt Lilly 9 on Instagram. MLM Comedy, MLMcomedy.com. Fun Day Laughs, Monday, 2nd of September, Galaxy Bar. And I'm coming to Auckland. I'll be in Auckland from the 5th to the 8th of September. So come to those if you're in Auckland.
Hell yeah. As for me, Taylor Ruddle Comedy on all the platforms. Go to the YouTube page. What have I got up there? Go watch my vlog, I guess. That was the last thing I uploaded. Go to ruddlemethus.com to check out the website for this podcast, which you're listening to now. New spanking website. Leave us a review. 5 stars would be much appreciated. And just, tell a friend if you enjoyed it. So thanks for hanging out, Matt. We'll see you next time, I guess. And peace.
Peace.
Don't drop my fucking mic.
Thanks for listening to Hosstown. Don't forget to share the episode and leave a review on your favourite podcatcher.
See you next month.
We'll see you then.
This has been a Tape Deck Media production. Thank you for listening.